For 30 years, the E릭양에이전시 has introduced global best-selling books to the Korean market. From the Harry Potter series to the Steve Jobs biography, the publishing agency has mesmerized the Korean readership with stories of great adventures and great thinkers. But now the world is mesmerized and demanding more Korean stories. And Korean writers led by Nobel Prize laureate Han Gang are rising in popularity. Now Arirang founder and CEO Kim Hee-soon faces the challenge of introducing the world to the wealth of Korean literature. To talk about such opportunities and challenges, our globalist today is Kim Hee-soon. Welcome to the Globalist.
Thank you for inviting me.
We're really glad to have you here. This has been such an interesting year for Korean literature, with, of course, writer Han Gang winning the Nobel Prize for Literature. But let's talk about this attention that Korean writers are getting abroad. Do you find it easier for a Korean writer to get published today than 3-4 years ago?
Yes, absolutely. As an agent, I always go to international book fair once a year, and every fair I have around 100 meetings. But clearly I can notice everybody wants to talk about Korean books and Korean authors. So things have been changed a lot. So we used to sell Korean books mainly to Asian countries, but nowadays, I mean, we can sell abroad, including European countries.
So it's not just U.S.
Not just U.S.
Well, it's beyond Asia.
Yes.
And it's not even just the U.S. anymore.
No. So we can sell actually to the world.
Really?
Yes.
What kind of books are they looking for?
They're looking for mainly fiction because fiction, Korean K-fictions are so popular. So people call it K-healing fiction. It's a kind of brand of Korean fiction. So many foreign publishers and editors are still looking for Korean fiction. But in case non-fiction, it's a little bit different level because, unless the author is globally known, it is very hard to sell to abroad.
So I guess before, you used to have to go around and sell Korean books. But now I think a lot of people are coming to you saying, do you have a Korean author?
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes, yes.
So you talked about healing books. What are they? What are you talking about, healing books?
It's kind of a, heartwarming and uplifting, feel-good fiction. So people can easily read, and it's the story is quite easygoing. Just to, make feel good.
Yeah. Who are some of the main authors of these so-called healing novels?
There's a lot of feel-good fictions, but I want to tell you some of books. 이미애's 달라구 department store, 황보름's Welcome to the Hyunamdong bookstore, and one more 이운화's a midnight pastry shop called 화월당. Kind of things are working very well. In case of a midnight pastry shop called 화월당, it's very interesting because we sold the rights to 11 countries.
Wow.
Yeah, including America, UK, France, and Germany. Yeah. But even before Korean books published here, it's quite extraordinary things because it is very difficult to sell the fiction title with manuscript before publication.
Yeah.
So it's quite amazing things.
Wow. So why is there so much interest in Korean books?
We have such a strong K culture. More and more people got interested in Korean stuff. And the publishing peoples are also interested in, publishing a couple of Korean books for their own company. So people started looking for Korean books. And one of the titles, in case of Welcome to the Hyunam-dong bookstore, was successful in UK, and the sales was good. And people want to follow, the trend of Korean books.
These feel-good books, the healing books, is that something that is sort of unique to Korea? Why is it so popular?
Yes, I think it's kind of unique Korean things. I mean, the similar kind of books, we called it cozy mystery.
Cozy mystery,
Yes,
okay.
it's kind of soft with mystery element. But K-healing fiction is much more uplifting, feel-good fiction. It's slightly different. So I think it's kind of a Korean thing.
It's sort of like K-pop in some ways.
Yes.
It's an uplifting, kind of catchy,
Yes.
easy to read
Yes,
book.
yes.
Do you see more and more Korean authors going to this kind of novels?
When I met the people, publishing people in UK and US, they said to me, this year and next year will be very much important because, a lot of big publishing house is planning to publish Korean books for the next couple of years. So we have to see the result and feedback from each market. And if the sales goes up, their needs will be continued.
But, Hangang, or the Korean writers that were earlier famous, like Shin Young-suk, their novels were not feel-good novels. They were
Yes.
much more serious,
Right.
dark, tragic stories. There's a tendency to treat traditional literacy as the mainstream and feel-good novels as sort of a minor area. What do you think? Do you think Korea can get the respect from the literary world?
I think so. Young Korean authors are doing great. And these days, they are not just stay with feel-good fictions, and there are a lot of different trials to spin off some kind of different fiction. So there's one book, I cannot tell you the title.
Oh, we're going to keep us in the dark.
Yes,
but-
but it is a kind of a feel-good fiction, but it has a strong feminist and thriller element. So, people keep looking for some kind of a different source. So, feel-good fictions keep changing based on feel-good fiction.
So far, we've been talking about Korean books that are translated into English. Translation is a difficult process, and how you translate also makes a big difference in whether that book has impact. How good is the translation process?
In case of exporting Korean books outside, especially role of translation is very important, I think. And so we are eager to find some good translators. And there are some professional translators already. And our government is trying to train some translators as well. So we are trying to find many different channels to find some good translators.
It's not an easy process. But on our show, we've had people in the AI industry who talk about translation becoming much more easier with the introduction of AI. Will AI make a difference?
Yes, can be, but frankly speaking, AI involvement in translation is currently, not allowed.
Oh, I see.
Yes, in publishing industry, AI has been involved slightly in non-creative side, like, collecting some data or checking standard, or sometimes, finding some writing tools for aspiring authors. But in case of a creative side, like writing the book or translating or even designing the book cover, all AI cannot be involved. Especially UK and America, they are very strict about AI involvement. There's no space for AI involvement in whole the publishing process.
Besides translation, what will make a difference in making Korean literature more popular abroad?
First of all, we also need to keep writing the great books.
Number one.
And second, I think, translation is such important. If the translation is not good, nobody reads the books. So it's important. And the third, I think the role of agent is also important because we have listened to experience. It is not famous book in Korea, but we've been found as one of UK editors are looking for good thriller. So even if it's not bestseller, well-known titles in Korea, we could get a deal in a good condition.
They have a lot of work to do.
Yes, yes.
It's been interesting in the last few years. The agency has sold a number, particularly of nonfiction books of our agency into Korea, which is very interesting because in reverse, a lot of the Korean books that are selling overseas have been fiction. So what's very interesting with this book is to now be selling some Korean nonfiction outside. So it's interesting how culture goes back and forth. But yes, the EYA agency has been fantastic to work with and looks after our clients, has made some very good, very nice deals with some great publishers here.
So we've talked about Korean books overseas, but in reality, Arirang has really built a 30-year reputation on introducing foreign books to Korea.
Yeah.
What has been your biggest success in terms of an international book in Korea?
Biggest success for us is we've been helping create a new market within Korea, I think. So with Haripotter, we created young adult book market.
Young adult market.
Yes.
Okay.
And with the Da Vinci Code, we think we ignited the interest in commercial fiction. And the book like Jack Welch's autobiography, we built up some memoir and biography market as well. Also, Michael Sanders' Justice did an important role to introduce some social science market in Korea.
I was sort of surprised that Justice did so well
Yes.
in Korea. How do you measure the success rate? How many books have to be sold in Korea for it to reach
These days, 50,000,
50,000?
we called it bestseller titles. But in case of Justice, it's more than 1 million copies.
Really?
Yes.
Just in Korea?
Right.
What other books have been sort of surprising successes for you?
Sometimes there are books didn't work well abroad,
Yeah.
but become bestseller titles in Korea. I think it's Stolen Focus. The book is all talking about concentration. So the author insists to the concentration is affected by social environment rather than the personal, individual, psychological situation. So I think the theme is quite appealed to the Korean readers, and it was bestseller titles, but no other place.
What about the other way? Are there some international bestsellers that didn't work in Korea?
Yes, not the individual books, but a couple of years, the biggest trend for the young people abroad is romantasy, which means romance and fantasy. But we've struggled to introduce romantasy to Korean audiences. So we tried, introduce the most successful romantasy titles called Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, but it wasn't, working at all.
Really?
Yes. So romantasy just don't hit the same way in Korea. But I realized it turns out Korea has our own reading stuff. Korean readers already into the web novels. We found out that web novels is much romantic and much spicy. So that's why romantasy never working in Korea.
So they could get their romance novels through the web novels?
Yes.
So what kind of books do young adults actually buy from the bookstore?
Frankly speaking, we don't have any young adult market. Young adult market is not growing at all because our teenagers are such a stressful with all the school curriculum and afternoon school.
They're too busy studying
Yes,
to read like a novel.
right.
That leads into that question of, are you worried that Koreans are not reading enough? Especially the young generation.
Yes, but the concern the young generations reading less is the common topic of the discussion over the world. But I think, the young generation is reading less in print book, and their reading habits are different. So they are more into short form of contents, or they are enjoying a lot of ebooks and audiobooks and digital contents in different formats. So I think it's quite complicated to measure. Young generation are reading less.
How do you adapt to this new type of readership? Are you going to go into ebooks? Do you deal with ebook rights as well?
Yes, we do acquire ebook rights a lot these days. And actually, publishers want to hold the ebook rights, even though the market share is still 10%. They want to be ready to launch ebook anytime.
Do you see that area becoming even bigger in the future?
I think audiobooks has much more possibilities to grow. Yes. In case of America, the growth of audiobook is so fast because American publishing environment is quite different because the major 10 publishing company covers 80% of market share.
Really?
Yes, but in Korea we are kind of very small. But the reason why the audiobook is successful is, it can be possible for multitasking. So we can,
I see.
Yeah, we can listen to the book while we are cleaning or while we are cooking.
Or while we're driving?
Yeah, driving. So I think audiobook is quite appealing to young generation.
In the domestic market, what do you think the future is? We talked about audiobooks, ebooks. Where do you see the future?
Ebook is stable, but not growing, and audiobook is slowly growing, but not fast. But thinking about the trend, IP development based on book. The book can be a source for films and dramas and webtoons and games. So IP development is product for the future.
So a book that has potential to be made into a drama and a movie, those kind of books are the ones that are going to be popular in the future.
Yes, already. Quite a number of books are already made into films and drama. So we are quite much interested in,
For Erik Yang, what kind of future potential, where do you see Erik-yang in the midst of all this future K-literature trend?
We used to be very strong with the import of foreign properties into Korea, but nowadays our exporting teams are getting bigger and bigger and growing faster and faster. And we also have a branch office in Thailand and Taiwan. So we are really trying to, deal with the diversity from foreign editors, as well as focusing on representing Korean authors to as many countries as possible.
What do you think the next trend will be after healing novels?
Kind of a spin-off titles, and based on the healing feel-good factor. I mean, a lot different elements like a science fiction or thriller or mystery element. That kind of, slightly different fictions might be working because the foreign editors actually asking about, kind of a Korean style of a science fiction. Yes, set in the near future, but because they understand our emotion and our style, but they want to, see a little bit different styles. So.
On that note, so is there a book that you are looking at to publish that you might want to introduce to our audience?
Yes, the nonfiction sales are a little bit tough, but we had a very good successful deal on nonfiction called The Psychology of Luck. It is self-help books, but written by Korean shaman. So it's very
shaman.
Yeah, it's very unique voice. Do you know the Secret? The book Secret?
Yes.
Yes,
The
it's
Secret.
slightly
global
yes,
bestseller.
Yes, it's slightly different. From Secret, but all talking about kind of inspirational things related with love. So the author's profile is quite interesting. She used to be producer at the broadcasting company, but became a shaman. And her book is quite unique voice of Korea. So we made a great deal of the book at the last Frankfurt Book Fair. During the book fair, we sold, around 7 countries.
So when do you expect this book to be published?
I mean, normally we give 18 months for translation, so I think at the end of this year or next year.
And around the world? In the US?
First, I start with the UK, I think.
UK.
Yes.
In addition to that, do you have any other books that you'd like us to know about?
Yes, I have one more exciting book. 천선란's 1,000 Blues.
1,000 Blues.
Yes. And 천선란 is already best-selling authors.
In Korea?
Yeah, in Korea, and famous author with science fiction. But UK editor positioning the book as upmarket fiction. It's slightly different, but he think, it's more appealing to the general audience.
Oh, okay. Well, so that's something to look forward to by the end of the year.
Yes.
I hope you the best of luck. And when you get these great global bestsellers, you have to come back.
Yes.
And I'll be back next week with another globalist who's putting Korea on the map. Son Ji-ae out.